Welcome into another edition of The Butcher versus the Dance Instructor, presented by LB's Meat Market. I'm Neil McCready, joined as always by Greg Jones, LB's Meat Market, Caroline McCready from Legacy Studio of Performing Arts in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I got it right. Week 4 of the big competition here as we keep rolling through the month of September. Got a home game for Ole Miss this weekend, the final non-conference game of the regular season, Ole Miss and Georgia Southern, 6:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. So another big weekend for the folks at LB's as they get you ready for football season. SEC season rolls around for Ole Miss next weekend. With Kentucky coming to town. So a couple weekends in a row where you need to make LB's a big part of your weekend. It's 2008 University Avenue in Oxford, right across from Kroger. Let Kroger be your landmark if you're coming in. This weekend, like I said, it's a night game. So you've got all day Saturday. If you're hanging out in the Grove or all that stuff, you can get some LB's to take with you to the Grove. And then, of course, you got Sunday after the game. You get run into LB's, make that a part of your NFL watching perhaps the next day. And then, of course, next weekend, the Kentucky game at 11 a.m. Game's over at 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to
Should be
grab
some games. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to grab some stuff, light up the grill that evening, watch some of the other games, and go from there. Make LB's a big part of it. They freshest cuts, beef, pork, chicken. They've got the house-made sausages. Greg's been working on those just today, about to do some more of those. So the stuffed mushrooms, the stuffed jalapenos, they've got all the frozen stuff on the left. When you walk in, it's $2 off. So if you're not in a big hurry, there's some bargains to be had there. So just a whole lot at LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue in Oxford. You can also text your order, 662-259-2999.
Right. Yeah. Always text. You can text your order. I mean, I'll even give you 10% off. How about that?
How about that?
10% off all text orders.
10% off all text orders right here, spur of the moment. There you go. All right, Greg, Caroline, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's getting closer to the meat of the schedule, the end of the non-conference schedule, which personally I'm kind of excited about. I'm sort of ready to cover some SEC games. I'm ready to cover some games that might be competitive, but we're kind of working on those things. It's been a little warm here this week, Caroline. I know you haven't been to Oxford in a while, but been a little warm this week. We got teased with some fall last week.
Yeah, we're the same way.
Whew.
And now it's hot again. This is what happens. You get one last late September sort of heat wave, and then October's warm, but it starts to cool by the end of the month a little bit. That's my experience. So
Yeah.
we're kind of headed in that direction. Greg, you got a 2-game homestand starting this week. What's going on at LB's? How are you guys kind of getting ready for it?
Yeah. I'm going to make a bunch of ribeye sausage and get fresh fish. Obviously we do this on Wednesday. Fresh fish comes on Thursday. So we'll probably get some scallops. Did some grilling of, it's funny. I usually drop off LB's products at people's houses or people go, pick up stuff. And I actually did some LB's product grilling last Sunday. So it was really awesome. The chicken poppers, we did some duck poppers, did that sweet basil sausage. So yeah, it was kind of cool to cook all the stuff, and all the stuff was good. So it's, always helps whenever you cook a bunch of, make a bunch of sausage and everything, and everybody enjoys everything. So it was a good day.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
The Saints won 100-0. I mean, what better Sunday can you need? I mean, it was really awesome.
Yeah, the Saints look great against the Cowboys. Caroline, what's going on with the dance studio? You're back in the early phase, right? Starting to get the girls ready for competitions and such. How's that going?
Yeah, I have been trusted with the 6-year-olds this year, majority of the time. So I'm worn out. Like, I'm literally exhausted. But today is my day of just teaching older girls. So today's like my break day. But then tomorrow it's like 2 hours straight of 6-year-olds. So
how many of them are there?
It's demanding. It kind of depends. Like yesterday it's 5, and then tomorrow Well, tomorrow they took away one of my classes that was all of them. So that's awesome. It's just three of them for one of them. One of the 3-year-olds has a solo. I'm not really understanding why, but whatever. So I teach her solo. She can't even talk and she can't even, is it we can't have a conversation yet, but she has to dance by herself. So yeah, it's been good, but it's just been a different year. But I'm glad that they trust me to handle them.
Yeah, I can't. A 3-year-old can't learn a dance solo.
I was telling my mom, I'm like, I'm teaching them the basics, like how to point your toes. Like you're teaching them the basics, and it's really hard, and it's boring. It's very
Yeah, I mean, not trying to like it. This literally sounds like a yearling horse sale. Like literally, like trying to teach because they're so young that they, some of them act up, but like literally, like walking with other horses and like it's just kind of I can understand, because imagine being with a 3-year-old child. I can't imagine that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I have a chart where it's like they each get a star. There's like different categories, and once it's all filled up, they get popsicles. So that started yesterday.
What kind of popsicles do we rock?
Well, I bought the cheapest ones. So I don't know if they were good or not. But they were just like little just like the normal like
The flavor. I see. What are the plastic ones that comes in a bag? Yeah, those are awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
those are
purple.
good.
Oh yeah,
Those are good.
Those are good because you kind of, yeah, they once they melt a little bit, they're amazing.
oh yeah, they got the perfect texture.
Yeah. The star system is a good idea for me getting everybody to put in the picks for Neil's picks on Thursday. I usually have to send out like a text. Hey, it's a very passive aggressive. Here's your weekly reminder to send me your freaking picks. So maybe if I tell them you'll get a star, they'll do it.
I'm in a Survivor kicker league. So the NFL Survivor League. This is a kicker league.
Oh.
So you have to put kickers in, and totally forgot about it. And the guy's like, "Hey man, you want to play this week?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." So I literally I totally forgot. It was like Sunday at 10:30. I'm like, just totally forgot about the Survivor kicker league. It's a pretty fun league though.
Yeah, I forgot about fantasy football, and I am losing.
Are you doing poorly?
Yeah, I had a bad week. Because I forgot.
Have you changed your lineup from first week to the second week?
No, that was my
So which kicker are you going with? You actually have 2 kickers. Are you going with
I've been going with Harrison Butker.
Oh, he's pretty good. Your guy Cam though, I think is 3 for 3 so far.
Yeah,
who's he kick for?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, that's a kicker. That's a kicking team.
Yeah. I think he's 3 for 3 on the season. Off to a good start.
Like AJ Brown, did he not play?
Oh yeah,
he's hurt. You got to get him out of your lineup.
Yeah, he was in it last week, so I got no point.
Yeah, you got to keep up a little bit.
Yeah, this week I'm going to keep up more.
Okay. Yeah, AJ's out, so don't play AJ.
So you're 0-2 in the hole, or what? 1-1.
0-2.
0-0.
Yeah.
I'm
a rookie with fantasy football.
Well, now that you're keeping up, you're probably going to go on a streak.
Yeah, I'm gonna start keeping up.
All right. Well, the bad news, Caroline, is that you're in a hole in this competition as well. After last week, you had a struggle of a week. Greg, you went 7-6. Pretty good week because there was bloodshed for most people picking last week. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for live bets. Now you can live bet things and yes, the odds might be a little bit heavier, but I think after the third play, Alabama and Wisconsin, I don't think I could live bet it enough. I knew for a fact I was on the wrong side of that.
It was one of the few you missed, though. Caroline, you went 5-8 with your picks. So, Greg, you have taken a 2-game lead as we enter week 4. Greg, you're 17-16 overall. Caroline, you're 15-18. So very much within striking distance. No reason to panic. No reason to completely lose your composure. We just got to keep plugging along. But we'll head into this week's games. Mostly SEC. Have a couple of non-SEC games that we're picking. So we've got 10, 11 games Anyway, we'll start with Greg since you won the week. That's the rules. It's Florida, the embattled Gators in Starkville to face the even more embattled Mississippi State Bulldogs. This is an 11 a.m. game. It's on ESPN. Greg, the Gators, despite getting absolutely mauled last week, they're giving 5.5 points to a Mississippi State team that got blown out at home by Toledo.
Oh man, I was at a wedding Saturday with a bunch of State fans. So they had the little big, yeah. That's what kind of people have weddings during football season is State fans. So, yeah, it was pretty bad. I was kind of in shock. I didn't know that they were getting beat as bad as they were. So of course there's an open bar at the wedding that it doesn't help whenever you're not worried about a football game. But no, we had fun. It was fun. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm not Can I not take anybody? Like, can I?
That is not an option. I mean, you can just take an automatic loss, or you can.
I'm gonna take Florida. I mean, surely Florida has somewhat better players than State. I mean, isn't the predictor like predicting Mississippi State to win? I think.
I have not looked this week.
I think something, but I know tickets are $5 if you want to go.
There are plenty of tickets available. Caroline, he's going to take the Gators, lay the 5.5 in Starkville.
I'm going to agree.
Okay. I think I agree too. Kentucky, coming off of a close call, a 1-point loss to Georgia at home.
Yeah.
We're back at home this week.
Head scratching right there. I mean, wow.
11:45 a.m. Central on SEC Network. Caroline, Kentucky's playing Ohio, the Bobcats. Ohio is a 17.5-point underdog at Kentucky.
I'll go with Kentucky.
Okay. Caroline's going to bet against the letdown, Greg. She's going to take the Wildcats, lay the 17.5.
Man, I mean, I'll take Kentucky just to be, favoritism. I mean, I was gonna do Campbell's green angle. Yeah. She always took green teams.
She did. She always took green teams. The green teams were good to her. Campbell might have to pick one week because Caroline will be on fall break in New York. She might have to fill in for her.
I'll be here.
Oh, I'll be back? Okay. All right. Yeah. Don't want to do that. All right. We got USC, the Trojans. They head to the big house in Michigan, Greg. This is a Big Ten game for the first time ever.
Yeah. We're so weird. Yeah.
USC and Michigan's a Big Ten game. 2:30 on CBS. Just to add to the weirdness, CBS has a Big Ten game, 2:30 USC, Michigan. USC, Greg, a 6.5-point favorite on the road.
I know I took Michigan last time against whoever they were playing, but I think USC is pretty decent. We'll take USC in the first Big Ten matchup. How many Rose Bowls? They played a bunch of Rose Bowls.
Yeah, I don't know how many, but several.
Yeah, played several Rose Bowls. It's kind of weird. It's now a conference matchup.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but here we are, new world. Caroline, he's going to take the Trojans, lay the 6.5 in Michigan.
I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. I'm just going with my gut this week because I did bad.
All right, Caroline. Game of interest there where you are. It's the Arkansas Razorbacks. They came back and beat UAB last week. They did not cover. Both of you missed that game. Arkansas heads to Auburn this week to play Reverend Freeze and the Tigers. This game at 2:30 on ESPN. Arkansas. Is this right? Do I have the right number?
I know. I was like, wow.
I think Auburn's favored, right? Let me make sure. Hold on. We're gonna get this right in live time. I may have written this down wrong, and if I did, I'm gonna fix it right now. That's okay. Pulling it up on DraftKings. Going down to.
I can't believe I missed out on the Grey Goose. The Grey Goose should have came out the first game, for the State and Florida game.
All right. It's now a 3-point game, but I'm going to leave it at 4 because that's what I sent it with. Arkansas is a 4-point underdog. Arkansas getting 4 points at Auburn, Caroline.
Hate to say it, but I'm going with Auburn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hate them.
So you're going against your team.
Yes, they struggled to beat UAB. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Were you at the game?
No, I was watching from Tin Roof. But it was ridiculous. So
I mean, how were the guys' reaction? Where they were like just so mad, just like because wasn't it they were down 10-0, right? Like first
yeah, they
quarter.
were down. Yeah. Mhm.
Down 17-3 at one point.
Uh,
It's ridiculous. So I'm going with Auburn. Unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I don't know. And then next weekend we go to Dallas for the A&M game, which is always pretty upsetting too.
Yeah, you never win it. Y'all get excited for that trip every year. You go to you.
Oh, didn't we win it though my freshman year?
Yeah, you won it your freshman year. That's the only
My
time.
freshman year was the last year of good football. Like we beat Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We did not beat Ole Miss. We beat
yeah.
Ole Miss though sophomore year.
You beat Ole Miss your sophomore year.
That was so fun. That was the best game ever.
Let's see. You're 1-2 against Ole Miss. You're one play away from being 2-1. Yeah, that first game where they went to overtime and Ole Miss won on the Arkansas. No, you can go to overtime.
Yeah.
They didn't go to overtime. Sam Pittman elected to go for it to try to win it right there on the last. Arkansas scored on the last play of the game to pull within 1 point.
Yeah.
And rather than send your boy Cam out, kick an extra point, and go.
Oh, he didn't.
He was like, no, let's do it. And they didn't get it. And so
And then I had a class with him, and it was sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
All right, Greg. Caroline is going against her Razorback. She's going with Auburn and giving 4.
I'm going to go with Arkansas just because it's hard to get up for UAB. Whenever you got Auburn the next week. So, and obviously, I'm just going to say they were looking ahead. So they're a better team than Auburn. So I'm going to go with Arkansas.
If it makes you feel any better, Caroline, I've gone back and forth on this game too because it was a natural letdown spot for the Hogs last week because they had the Oklahoma State game where they felt like they probably should have won and they beat themselves. And then you got the Auburn game coming. You got A&M around the corner, and here's UAB who just got mauled by ULM. And so you probably think we're going to kill these guys. And the next thing you know, you're down 17-3 and it's a dogfight. But
yeah.
All right, Greg, we go to the Big 12. Speaking of Oklahoma State, the Cowboys are at home this week playing Utah. This is a 3 p.m. game on Fox. Utah is in Stillwater as a 2.5-point favorite.
So this is a conference game too, right?
This is a Big 12 game. Yes, sir.
Wow. I always take the Cowboys at home. The guys with the paddles, like paddling the sidelines, the camera always goes to those guys. So I like that angle.
All right, Caroline, he's going to take Oklahoma State and get 2.5 at home in Stillwater.
I'm going to take Oklahoma State too.
Oh.
I met some nice ladies from Oklahoma State. I gave them a tour of Cayo the other day.
Oh, really? They were just there on a visit?
Yeah, they were just here for the weekend. They're like 50-year alums, and they take a trip every year together. And there were only 5 of them this year, which was sad. So, I know. So they came to Cayo, and I gave them a tour. One of them is like an advisor. They're not 50. They were like 40 year. Yeah. Well, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, one of them was an advisor, and then one of them is like big with Cayo. So I'm glad I said yes. They just came to the front of the house and asked for a tour. So I gave them one. But they're from OSU.
Okay. All right, Caroline, we go back to the SEC this week. It's an SEC game. Vanderbilt, fresh off just choking. Bless them. They go to Missouri to face the Tigers. This is a 3:15 game on SEC Network. Vanderbilt, Carolina is a 21-point underdog at Mizzou.
I'm going with Mizzou.
Okay.
So.
Caroline's sticking with the favorite there, Greg. She's going to lay 3 touchdowns on the doors.
I'd say I'll take Vanderbilt. They were looking ahead, looking past Georgia State. They wanted that Buffalo, Missouri. That's kind of really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That whenever Missouri went down the field with 1 minute to go to cover a 30-point spread, that's really rubbed me the wrong way.
You can tell.
Whew.
No, yeah. All
I mean,
right.
I'm sitting here taking Vanderbilt. I mean, good
I
Lord.
know. Getting 21 points though. All right,
Man.
game of the week in the SEC. One of the big games of the week in the country. It's Oklahoma's SEC debut. The Sooners officially in the SEC on Saturday night. They face Josh Heupel and the red hot Tennessee Volunteers. This is a 6:30 game on ABC. Greg, Tennessee hits the road in Norman as a 7.5-point favorite.
Well, man, this should be a really good game. You just really, I mean, honestly, with Tennessee doing what they've done, and Nico doing Nico things. I mean, they're all. I'm gonna take Oklahoma, the home dog. I like home dog.
Okay.
With that being said, probably watch the first 3 plays and live bet Tennessee until the end of the game.
All right, Caroline, this is an interesting game. Oklahoma's coach, Josh Heupel, played at Tennessee, was a longtime Oklahoma assistant, basically got fired at Oklahoma. They sort of mistreated him. He disappeared from Oklahoma, never to be seen again, was successful at UCF. Now he's successful at UT, and he brings in a Tennessee team to play Oklahoma's first SEC game.
Wow.
There's a lot here. I mean, there's a lot here.
He won the Orange Bowl with them, right?
Yeah, he was finished second in the Heisman.
Yeah, second in the Heisman, yeah.
So Greg's going to take Oklahoma to cover at home, getting 7.5. What say you?
I'm going to go with Tennessee.
I love Tennessee here. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
I love Tennessee here. I think Tennessee is legit. That's what I think. And if I'm wrong, so be it. I'm wrong a lot. But Tennessee they look like a rolling ball of butcher knives, man. All right, a game that nobody will watch unless you have a child playing in it. Bowling Green hits the road to play Texas A&M. This is at 6:30 on ESPN Plus. Caroline, the Aggies giving 23.5 to the Falcons of Bowling Green.
I'll go with A&M.
Oh, wow. Don't you despise A&M?
This is such a wild week for you.
Yeah.
This is cutthroat.
Well, I need to win. So
you're like checking your lineup now. You're like doing your research.
This is where she's my child, Greg. There's no sentiment here. There's no sentimentality. She's going with a person that I know she dislikes against her school. She's going with the school that I know she dislikes and will be cheering violently against next week in Dallas. And yet she's riding with them. I mean, she's leaving emotion and sentimentality to the wind.
I picked Ole Miss last year in the Ole Miss Arkansas game.
You did pick Ole Miss last year in the Ole Miss Arkansas game, and they didn't cover.
No, they didn't. So.
They didn't cover. Arkansas covered that game.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. She's going to take the Aggies and lay 23.5 at home against Bowling Green.
I remember the first season. Campbell thought Bowling Green was the only reason that she took Bowling Green because it was green, and I was like, they don't have
not a stitch of green.
Like you can't even combine their colors to make green. Like it's. So no, I'm going to go with Texas A&M. They should roll.
For those that don't know, Bowling Green is orange and brown. They're not green at all. They should be bowling brown. Akron goes to South Carolina. ESPNU. The Gamecocks coming off of a disappointing just choke job against LSU. They had LSU on the ropes, let them up. Greg, the Gamecocks are giving 27.5 to Akron.
Oh man, I gotta tell a story. My mom, she's been recently trying to figure out YouTube TV.
Yes.
So she was watching LSU in South Carolina. Well, the phone rang, and so she was on the phone for about 10 minutes and pressed play on the LSU South Carolina with 15 minutes, it's already, the game's almost pretty much over. And she's like, oh, it's in the, start of the fourth quarter. And one of my workers like, oh, no, LSU won. She goes, what? So she didn't know that, that it stops live TV and you have to, fast forward to live. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, no, South Carolina's decent, like sneaky good. I like South Carolina.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right. Greg's going to take South Carolina Carolina and lay 27.5 against the Zips of Akron.
I'll go South Carolina too.
Okay. It's one of those things for Carolina that the questions is just going to be about motivation. You know, it's a yeah, if they want to beat Akron by 28 plus, they can. But it's, are you over the hangover from last week? You got an open date, then Ole Miss coming up. Do you have any juice in the tank for Akron? And I don't know the answer. We'll find out. Speaking of juice in tank, Ole Miss back at home. The Rebels 5th in the country. They play Georgia Southern. This game's 6:45 SEC Network. Ole Miss so far this year has won their games by a score of 168-9. It's been, if you're just watching, if you don't have an emotional attachment, this has been boring so far. I am ready for let's
yeah, you definitely said the first half of the schedule was going to be pretty brutal. I mean, but halfway through September is going to be okay.
Ole Miss, Carolina, is a 35-point favorite over the Eagles of Georgia Southern, Clay Helton and the guys. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm just riding the Rebels till they don't cover.
I think Ole Miss has covered every bet that has been at first half, first quarter, over, everything. I think they've covered everything.
Yeah, I can't think of an example where they haven't. So, all right, Carolina's going to take the Rebels. She's going to lay 35, Greg.
Yeah, give me the Rebs all day long.
All right, and probably the game of the week in every sport. If you put all the sports together, this would be the game that everyone would talk about. It's the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. They had to Austin, Texas, to face the top-ranked Longhorns. Texas now number 1 in the polls after another decisive win. This game's at 7:00 on ESPN Plus. It's so good that you only can stream it. If you put this thing on network television, it would break network television, so they're not doing it. They're putting it on a streaming network. Texas, Greg, is a 45-point favorite. 45 points.
Well, I drove through the great town of Monroe, Louisiana, Monday, actually twice.
Did you drive through Ruston and Monroe?
Correct.
Look at you. What a week for you, man.
You know, it's so funny is whenever you thought back, you used to play sports and, the road games, whenever you had to go, play a football game on the road and it was a 2-hour road game, you hope and pray you win the game. So the 2-hour bus ride will be okay. Well, we didn't win the game. So the bus ride back from the racetrack to Oxford was very somber. So everybody remembers that one bus ride that, you didn't win the game and it was just quiet the whole way. So it was basically like that. But yeah, I rolled through Monroe and Ruston and man, they've got a nice little mall in Monroe.
The Pecan Land Mall, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is it still up?
Oh yeah, they the Toys R Us didn't make it.
Yeah.
RIP to the Toys R Us, but it didn't make it.
When I was in high school, Pecan Land Mall was like a hot thing to go do on Saturday night.
It definitely looked like it.
You would drive from Ruston to Monroe. You go to the Pecan Land Mall. You'd kind of walk the mall. You'd scope.
I didn't realize how close that was. I mean, it was not far at all.
No, 30, 35 minutes. You'd scout for girls. They'd meet girls from other high schools. It's pretty crazy. Maybe go see a movie. Maybe go to the little Mexican restaurant in the or the food court.
Oh yeah, the food court. It was still alive.
Things could get crazy in the food court at Pecan Land Mall.
Yeah, it looked like a nice mall that it's still running. It looks good.
But you passed through Ruston. Did you see all the statues at Ruston High?
I did see your statue. That was awesome.
Former Bearcat.
I didn't know you had hair like that.
Magnificent.
You even got a fan that's literally right there, like blowing your locks.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a glorious time. Glorious time to be a Bearcat. All right, Greg. 45 points. Are you gonna lay them or not?
Man, Texas is good, and I imagine Arch wants to probably lay it on them. I'm gonna go with the Warhawks. I'll go with the underdog.
All right. Caroline Gregg's going to take ULM
The
and
Warhawks.
35 points at Texas. We're about to find out whether you're being just completely cutthroat today, or is this just a shred of sentimentality right here?
Sorry, I'm gonna go with Texas.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
She likes Arch. Don't you? I mean, who doesn't like Arch?
Yeah, I forget.
There are a lot of people that don't like him, but I mean, he seems like a perfectly good kid. I mean, it's fine.
But what has he done to not be liked? It's just
Here, I think he didn't go to Ole Miss.
Oh,
That's
because
it.
well, yeah. Other than that, like he seems like a pretty cool kid.
All right, so you guys are on the same page on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 11 games. You've got a difference on Arkansas, Auburn, with Caroline going against her Razorbacks, Greg going with the Hogs. You got a difference on Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and then ULM and Texas. So pretty interesting.
Should be some good games.
Should be, yes. It's always there's always some surprises. Always some surprises. All right, so LB's Meat Market 2008, University Avenue in Oxford. Don't forget, text in your order. You can go ahead and text in your order for next week. Kentucky's coming up. It's going to be a big week in town.
You literally, you can text hold a paragraph, say what week you're coming in and what day, and you want 5 lane trains and 12 poppers and 6 mushrooms and twice baked potatoes. So you literally can text your order, and we'll reply back and say no problem. We'll get it taken care of.
And not only that, you'll get 10% off by texting it in. So there you go. All right, so 2008, University Avenue in Oxford. Make it a part of your weekend. Georgia Southern this weekend. Kentucky next weekend. We'll be back next weekend to preview another weekend in the SEC. Caroline will be getting ready for her annual trip to Dallas, and Greg will be getting ready for the Wildcats and what should be an absolute jam-packed Oxford that weekend. Caroline, what do you have planned for the weekend? I know you're not going to the Plains to see the freezes or anything, so what's up?
Just hanging out. Like a little chill weekend. I'm gonna go watch the game somewhere.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to the Hogs against.
So you will watch the game at least.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Consider and just to let everybody know that you do this podcast and you picked Auburn, and I'm just kidding.
It is kind of some emotional hedging though for you, right? Because
it is.
If Auburn wins, you're like, well, at least I got the bet right. The worst thing for you would be if Auburn wins, but they only win by like 2 points.
Ooh.
And then you're
if they kick a field goal with like 1 second, you're going to be really upset.
Yeah, then you lose across the board, and that just sucks. But if Arkansas wins, you're like, okay, I lost the bet, but I beat Hugh Freeze. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. As always, it's fun being with you. It's one of my favorite 30 minutes or so of the week. It's a fun little Wednesday break for me. So for Greg Jones, for Caroline McCready, I'm Neil McCready. That does it for this edition of The Butcher versus the Dance Instructor, presented by LB's Meat Market. Stay tuned for even more coverage here at MPW Digital. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. If you're traveling, please be safe, and we'll see you back next week. Take care.